Hello everyone, welcome back. I am at Medlar. It is named after the road that's actually on, and it is a conservation area, which means that this, I feel like, would be a really great spot to try maybe some wildlife photography here. I read just different information about this area in particular. It hosts like many different bird species. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of bird activity so far. In this kind of thicket over here, or even behind me really. It looks like prairie habitat. I just saw some sparrows. I just saw something up here. I don't even know what it was, but it looked like some kind of woodpecker. And looks like its rear end was like white as it flew away, which looked a little different. It looked like a decently sized bird, so could be a sapsucker. I don't know, for this time of year. That's always a possibility at least, but anyways. Seen a few mallards and stuff already fly by, or some kind of duck species. I don't know. Could be some teal here as well. Yeah. So it's my first visit, basically, to make an introduction here. So kind of looking forward to it. It's 416 acres. It's just entirely concrete and relatively flat. So it's a nice, easy kind of urban trail. But it takes you right through all this different green space. That's very, very nice. It's not really green right now, but you get the point. Natural space, I guess. And yeah, so I'm thinking today with all the wildlife, maybe might check out the big telephoto lens. I don't know. We will see. But right now I'm just kind of making my way. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus more on just scouting, pre-scouting as usual, since it's a new location. My first way out, and since it's out and back, when I reach to the end of the bikeway, the Medlar bikeway or trail, then I will probably pull out the telephoto lens on my way back and then see just whatever kind of species or any of that sort that we can probably get today. But hoping for the best. Don't really know. I mean, I do know what we could find, but I don't know if it's really going to be active in the middle of the day like this, or at least right now. But yeah, should be a nice day out. A little bit of ground to cover, mainly just going to be, like I said, walking along this path. But yeah, we will, if anything comes up, of course I'll record it, or try my best to, and yeah, should be a nice day. See what happens. There's a little pond or whatever near where the road crosses over here, and just before I get to that, I found this little kind of spur on the trail, and then I saw a body of water and I was like, holy crap. So, and I tried to be really nice and quiet, not to spook anything or scare anything, and there's nothing. But oh my god, this grouping of trees right behind me, look at that. I just like the way it kind of has like a mound to it, kind of rises and falls on both sides. Oh man, and with the reflection there, ooh, ideas. There we go. Starting to think about possibilities here. This place is interesting. It's very interesting. I kind of wish. I mean, it is raining, but still, I wish I brought my bike. Obviously, I mean, it'd make birding faster, but like, I don't know if that'd be really the best idea. But at least for pre-scouting, it'd be a very interesting way to go about this. Maybe when the weather's more favorable, I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting place overall, just with the combined, bikeway and conservation area. And the way, geez, sorry, I'm like balancing an umbrella over this camera. Yeah, the way it almost feels like a metro park, or like the idea of one, combining natural and urban space. But and the rain's getting kind of heavier. It's like the worst kind of rain too, because it's like, at least right now it's coming down straight, but it was kind of wisping around in the air, and and it was like going all different directions, and it was like almost like trying to turn in the snow almost, or at least flurries. I'm gonna keep on checking the place out, but yeah, it's interesting. We will see what happens. Alright, so I checked out the rest of the conservation area here at Medlar. I went all the way to the basically the tail end, the opposite end of where I started, and that brings us to the Great Miami River and the bikeway, the scenic bikeway that goes right along the river there. And so I just basically checked out a little bit across the strait over there, but then I just turned around simply just because I wanted to see more of the sparrows and attempt some photos here. But first, right here, I got this landscape, like I mentioned a little bit ago, composition. I came back to it after kind of just thinking about it some more as I was doing the rest of the walk here. And so what I'm thinking of, or what I'm going to try here, is that I tried some handheld shots, just quite simply just to see how it looked using the wide-angle lens at 35 millimeters. I really wish, I'm kind of kicking myself, I really wish I brought my 50 millimeter prime lens, because that focal length I feel like would be probably the most perfect one to shoot this scene, because I was about ready to pull out my small telephoto at 75 millimeters, and I'm like, that's just a little, it's too cropped in for what I'm thinking of, but I feel like 50 would be the nice sweet spot, and using a prime lens like that would be, you know, make a really nice tack sharp photo. But I had to work with what I had, and the 35 was the closest. It was a lot better suited for the image I had in mind than, let's say, the 75 millimeter was. But anyways, so I tried the image here. I tried a few test shots, simply just shooting it with the no filters, nothing of that sort. But just felt like it left a little bit to be desired, really. It also washed out and blew out the sky and made it, just blown out highlights and overexposed it. And it's really hard to, it's easy to do that, at least with the way it's just, this blank white sky really overhead. The lighting in that case makes it a little more tricky, I guess. But so I metered for the trees over there, of course, the way they're all just kind of arranged and lined up. I really like that nice orange one that's just kind of centered in the middle. It's very, very small, but it just kind of adds a little bit more contrast really to the rest of the cedar trees over there. And like I said, the elevation, it's kind of just what I'm going for, is just the grouping of the trees, is really just the subject that I'm kind of envisioning here. So back to what I was saying about the contrast though. So I found that really tricky, and I was shooting it handheld with those test shots. So I opted to use a tripod, slowing down my shutter, getting a much more proper exposure that way. And then I ultimately concluded that I needed to bracket it. So I did two different separate brackets or images. One exposed and metered for the sky. So that means it underexposed the rest of the scene under the sky, which means all the trees and all that. And then I made a proper exposure for the trees. And so from there, just pretty much you just compile them on the computer. What I use is Skylum Aurora HDR software, and that just, you just load up the two images, and it's almost like magic the way it just, artificial intelligence software like that, and it just loads them, and you know, you can go from there. You can adjust sliders and all that. So there's a lot of different softwares out there that fulfill that same task, but that's the one I use really. And then not only that, but with the contrast of the trees over here, I noticed it looked really washed out with no filters. So I figured since I had it on a tripod anyways, I'd bust out the polarizer filter, especially since a good third of the image underneath is water. So I use that to, you know, knock out reflections, saturate the colors. And I think even more important than that really was just, it simply put more contrast in the cedar trees, because before they're just very, very washed out. Just the way they really just kind of flat, and there's a lot of different shadow areas and smaller details that I really wanted to flesh out in the photo itself, and luckily the polarizer filter really just kind of pumped that out. And I did a little before and after on the camera LCD screen, and it made a very big difference, I think. So basically that filter helped twofold in this case. So I really like the arrangement of it. Like I said, I feel like the 50mm would be make a much more well composed photo, at least for what I'm trying to do here, but it worked out pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with the results here. And of course I shot it with a 2-second remote timer, just that way to minimize the camera shake there, and the tripod fulfilled that as well. So alright, there's a lot of information, but had to get it all out there while I'm thinking of it. So from here I think the rain's all but pretty much almost stopped for at least the time being. I mean, it's been pretty much spitting misty rain all day, but I think from here I'm going to put on my large telephoto lens and finally try and see if I can photograph these sparrows. I've also been seeing a lot of woodpeckers, so namely red-bellied woodpeckers from the looks of it, but see if I can get some bird photos in for the day, and then yeah, that should be it. So we will see what happens. Alright, that pretty much concludes my trip here to the Medlar. Very nice place, just kind of went in and out along the bikeway here. Bird photos, really, I didn't get much success with that. Got some decent white-breasted nuthatch footage, that will be in the video of course. And yeah, photos didn't have too much success. Even though there were some sparrows and cardinals, heard a few northern flickers. Stuff that's pretty common for this time of year. Woo! Look how heavy this big telephoto lens is I'm holding. Yeah, it's a very nice spot. I definitely feel like it has a lot of birding potential. There's also a very nice part halfway through the bikeway where it has this moss-lined road. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been Medlar Conservation Area. Thank you for exploring with me, and until next time, make sure to get out there. Thank you.